how have you navigated dating?
I feel like there's a lot of people who like didn't get past hello or didn't get past the first conversation. I honestly don't like it when people say that the dating pool has pee in it.
I don't either.
Because it's like, I think people get upset when they're not finding what they want. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not the season yet. Maybe it's not time yet. Maybe there's something you need to focus on. Like, maybe you're not meant to find them on Facebook. Maybe you're not meant to find them on a dating app. Maybe just where you are just isn't the place. Or maybe God is trying to work on something in you. But I feel like people get so frustrated. You go to college, you meet someone, y'all fall in love. Like, I just thought it was like 1 + 1 = 2. Like, yeah, if you do the right things, like, so I think I've definitely had some turmoil where it was like, God, like, don't you see me? If he raised Lazarus from the dead, if he healed a blind man, what he has for you is for you, and trust that his plans are good and his plans are true.
Come on now. Girl, she about to make me cry. Hey y'all, it is Briana here. Welcome to another episode of Meaningful Monogamy. And if you've been rocking with us or trekking with us for any amount of time, you know when you just see one of us, that is about to get juicy. We're about to interview someone, and y'all are in for a treat. I have with me today one of my dear sisters that I'm able to do life with. Her name is Daphne Smallwood. Y'all, welcome Daphne to the table. Hey, Daphne girl, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, no complaints. I'm really glad. I've been waiting on this. Even while we were on vacation, because y'all, we're at this point in our lives. If it don't go on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So I would see the reminders, and I've really just been looking forward to this interview because we have really good conversations. I know that the Lord has a word in you. I really feel like you will just be a big encouragement to our listeners. And yeah, I'm excited for this conversation. Also, I just want to share, our goal with this channel is to encourage, equip, and empower any and everyone that's walking with Christ as they're on their journey either in or to a kingdom marriage. We want to see kingdom marriages come about, and we want to see the ones that have already been established flourish. So that is our goal for this channel. That's why we interview. That's why we have these times of encouragement, and that's just what we are doing here. So if you are tuning in, we just want to see you thrive in 2025. All right now, okay, got a little rhyme going, but okay, so tell the people a little bit about yourself. What do you do for a living? And a fun fact about yourself.
So yeah, I born and raised in Philly, lived here all my life. Sometimes people don't think I'm from Philly, which I guess sometimes I can take that as a compliment. I am an artist. I've been doing art since I was 5. An educator as well. Recently left my job, and now I'm pursuing my art full time. I'm actually having an art show coming up, and I do a whole bunch of things. I teach senior classes. I also do children's face painting. I do maternity painting. And my goal is to provide art experiences from birth to the elderly and providing open access to art, especially for people of color, which is very important to me. Yeah. I would say a fun fact is I actually used to break dance. I
Now, if y'all stay tuned, we may have her break dance at the end.
No, okay. So when I say I used to break, I learned how to do a basic 6-step. I took some lessons, and I think breakdancing, I've never taken any dance classes, and breakdancing always felt like an art, especially when they do the freezes and they stop and they pose, it's just so beautiful, and it requires a lot of strength too. So yeah, I actually used to break dance.
Okay, see, that's why I like doing this, because I never knew, but I'm glad I know now. And I know I'm not the only one, but I instantly thought about what recently happened with the Olympics And okay, so we not even gonna do. I mean, they didn't drug her in the mud enough. Sister girl, I think she retired, but we gonna let that be what it is. Okay, perfect. That was nice. That's a nice segue. So my next question will be: tell us a little bit about your faith journey. How did you come to know the Lord and serve Him? What did that look like for you? Were you brought up in the church, or?
Yeah, so
different?
I would say I was like one of those, like, your grandmom Christian, your mom Christian. So you just write down that you're Christian on paper. You show up for Easter, you dress nice. Mm-hmm. And I think when I was in college, my senior year, I actually was asking a friend about a party. And I was like, girl, you going to this party tonight? I went to Penn State, so yeah. And she told me about this ministry she was a part of, and I was a part of the ministry, and I realized I didn't really know God for myself. So then I decided to, really get to know Christ, like Jesus, not like God, like I believe in God. So, I got saved when I was 22, and I got saved, and it's still like the journey of sanctification and even just learning like the word, I feel like I'm still learning and I'm still growing, but I'm grateful for the process, and I'm grateful that God met me when I was just looking to go out to a party. I wasn't even looking for the Lord. I was looking for what was happening that night.
It's crazy. I can relate to that. We have very similar, because I also got approached by a girl who was in an organization I didn't even know existed, because I was a part of something different in college. So how long did you like join that ministry in college?
Yes. So I joined the ministry. I was a part of it for maybe 2 years, but I feel like when I was in the ministry, like I was in it, but like it was kind of like there still wasn't that personal relationship with Christ. Like it was kind of like a social thing.
Got you.
And it was just like, oh, okay, like let me, start going to church, but it still wasn't like, personal. Because those college years, especially if you don't grow up in the church, those college years are just a struggle in general, even for pastors' kids,
It can be a struggle. And so from that ministry, what did it look like finding a church home? How has that been for you?
So I think when I first got saved, instantly I went to my mom's church, because it was like my cousins go there, everyone go there. And it was old school. There's nothing wrong with old school, but I just felt like what they talked about, I just felt like I wasn't able to really grow in my walk with Christ there. I wanted to find a church where I felt conviction, and I even wanted to dive deeper into the word. So I went to one church, and then God shut that door. He shut that church down. Like literally that church got shut. Like it was just no. And then I ended up finding Epiphany. God sent me back to Epiphany. And when I say it's everything, like I really believe that like God like really wants, like it was orchestrated.
Yeah. Like that's where God wanted you. I love when I'm in it, probably not, but when I look back and I kind of see, I feel like it helps to look back and see his orchestration, because it's a reminder of like, okay, if he orchestrated then, I know he got what's coming already lined up too. I think that's really good. So, okay, great. So 22, right, is when you got serious. And how old are you now?
So I'm 32, but my birthday is Tuesday, January 7th. So, I mean, I don't know how anybody gonna find me, but if you want, I can send my Cash App or anything. Anybody watching out here,
bless the Cash App. Okay, for that 33rd. So you turned 33?
Yes, 33, double digits, as they say, the Jesus year.
Okay, so wow, it's been about a decade of your walk. So, and I know that you mentioned that your mom and your grandma were both Christians. So, how did your upbringing, how you were raised, who you was raised around, how has that impacted your dating and how you view, the opposite sex? Like, how has that impacted you?
Things just got deep. So, yeah, I mean, my mom, she was like raised Christian, but I think sometimes we can identify as something, but that doesn't mean we live like it.
Yeah. That's real.
And I never knew my dad, don't know what he looked like, don't have a picture, any of that. So I think my idea of male relationships, any idea of a male came with, okay, you're like, you're a husband or a boyfriend, like, because also in my family, it's like all women. It's pretty much all women. Like I have 2 male cousins. That's it. Everyone else is women. So it's like when you're in a family where it's all women and there aren't marriages and a lot of the fathers aren't even there, it's just all women. So then it's like you get around a man, it's not instantly like, oh, this is my friend or this is my brother in Christ. It's like, no, this is like survival. And like, I want to get married one day and like you're here, So I feel like my relationship with men, I think from a young age was kind of like romantic because it wasn't like, oh, I had a brother that I grew up with or a cousin, or I knew what it was like to have like a father figure in the household, who showed me like that fatherly love and affection. Yeah. So I feel like it's definitely been affected because I know now I really desire like male like relationships, like not romantic, but just in general, just so I can just be able to even just just like a guy, he's my brother in Christ before he's my husband or my fiance or my spouse. So I think sometimes we could always romanticize things. And I know that I've been victim of it because I didn't like the men who showed interest in me. It was always romantic. It was always romantic or tainted or sexual. So it's like any guy who's nice or like, let me walk you to your car. I'm just like, what you want? Like, you must want something. Like, what do you want? And it's not always like that. So I know that's something I'm definitely trying to work through and refrain my mind. When it just comes to male relationships.
That's really, really good. And I think that that's something that I've also struggled with as well. And the group that I was in college called Chi Alpha, it helped and hurt because it helped me to notice that, first of all, you don't know how to do this because I didn't realize how similar our situation is. I don't know my biological father. I don't know what he looked like either. I know he's dark skinned and I do know his name. But we don't, and then my stepdad, that was a whole nother thing. And so I definitely understand where you're coming from. It's like, and I was just thinking about it now, and he knows this. Like the only male that was around was my cousin Marius, but like he was so young. So like I just, it's crazy that you're saying this because I'm even realizing in myself that was seeds that were planted that has affected how I even interact with the males as well. And so I want to say this, since you have this awareness now, and I know you're working towards, okay, like I want to have male friends. What is something that you've learned or something that you've put into practice that has helped you actually gain male counterparts outside of romantic?
So I've been trying to put myself in spaces where men are. Like legit, because I feel like in the church, it can be very woman dominant, or it's like it's like women's ministry, men's ministry, marriage ministry. So it's like as a single, sometimes I feel like those co-ed experiences that, are safe and boundaries and accountable, sometimes I feel like there's not enough spaces and places for those. So I try to put myself in spaces where it's like, okay, this is co-ed. Like I've been trying to prioritize co-ed hangouts, fellowships, praying, and also just trying to honestly just be, that word, be friendly. That's something I'm trying to like navigate. But it's like, I know like if I'm like, especially if there's no attraction there, like physical attraction, it's easy for me. Like I can be real friendly. I can be real friendly with the person.
You are wild.
So, yeah.
So I like how you brung that up. I want to ask a question. How do you think the church can better support singles? Even in just this, like, yes, with the hopes of being married, but even with engaging the opposite to, even, learn likes and don't likes and just keep each other in prayer. Like, how do you think the church can better engage?
I think, well, I can only speak for Epiphany Fellowship Church in Philadelphia. Yeah. I believe that like it is a community oriented church. So they do a good job at, having events and stuff. So like, I can't really think of anything that they can do like differently. I think I'm just in a unique situation because of just, lack of examples or past trauma or fear experiences. But I know that there are some events that are co-ed, but I guess in terms of that, maybe small group or more intimacy
more
with safety and boundary, instead of just having this large event where it's like, 100 people and it's like, hey, hi, how are you? How's the weather? But something where you could actually like grow in relationship with. I do believe that some people, they form that organically.
Yeah.
But me, I'm like an introvert extrovert. So sometimes I need things that are more kind of forced and scheduled.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that, because I do think they do a good job too, but I also think that is important because I know personally I was really blessed by what happened. So what happened was one of the guys in the Christian organization that I was on campus, he would start having game nights. And so it went from Thursday night, which was our worship night, or when we all gathered together, that's about 100 people. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when he would do the game nights, 15, no more than 20. That's even big. It'd be smaller than that sometimes. And it was like, it gave opportunities to really fellowship and like learn and see and kind of like thrive. And so, yeah, I think that's really important. And I know that that's something that I really feel like the Lord can etch in even into our community with different things that they're trying to do. So I think that that's good. And so let's go here. Let's get back to how has dating been? What has been your, because everybody, like, we recently was watching a video where the girl haven't got the talking phase. You got people where it's been, it's so many different unique stories. So for you, how have you navigated dating, being a woman of faith, also navigating through what they said, a dating pool got pee in it. Like, how has it been for you specifically?
Yeah, I think that like word dating is always interesting to me because I feel like I can't really speak to it in a sense that I feel like there's a lot of people who like didn't get past hello or didn't get past the first conversation. And honestly, like, I don't like it when people say that the dating pool has pee in it.
I don't either.
Because it's like, I think people get upset when they're not finding what they want.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe it's you. Maybe it's not the season yet. Maybe it's not time yet. Maybe there's something you need to focus on. Like, maybe you're not meant to find them on Facebook. Maybe you're not meant to find them on a dating app. Maybe you're not to find, like, maybe just where you are just isn't the place. Or maybe God is trying to work on something in you. But I feel like people get so frustrated with these routes and these dating apps. They're like, oh, this dating app sucks. Like, I have friends who ask me about a dating app and they be like, how you feel about it? And I'd be like, what they want me to say is whether I found good options. Like, okay, I didn't find anyone I matched with there, but that doesn't mean that dating app is bad. That's just not God's route of how he wants to meet who he has for me.
Mindset.
So I think we could always just take things so personally. Like, I've been on and off dating apps for about almost 5 years now, but I never looked at it as, oh, this app is bad. It's just like, no, God is going to do what he going to do and the way he going to do it. Like, it's just not through this app.
You ain't throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And that's okay.
Exactly.
I respect that. I like your mindset because I hear the exact same thing. Even with our group that we met in, like, there are still people who were in the group with us that are still single, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work just because it was not God's route for your life. I love that mindset. My next thing, so you've been navigating, and I want to let's shed light on what has been the biggest challenge. It will be different for everyone, because I know for some people it's the stress of like biological clock. For some people it is maybe somebody in the family is like, every time they see you, girl, when you gonna settle down, because that's gonna keep, they gonna always be asking. Now they asking us when we're gonna have another kid. But for you, what has been the biggest challenge in this season?
Honestly, I don't, because I feel like whatever challenge I feel like I've experienced, God has always like showed me how he comes through and provides.
Yeah.
So I feel like during this season, those moments where I was like, this is a challenge, like it really wasn't, like I feel like right now, I think for me it's just craving, like there's certain things that like men can do, or certain things that men provide at times that like I can't get from women. So I know like my prayer to God has been like, show me the male friendships that I have in my life. Like, show me, Lord, how you're providing these needs that I have and how you've already provided all of them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just been my challenge, is just with the mindset. But like, because like you come into this world, like Adam came, Eve came. Like Adam didn't come out of the womb with Eve. Like, yes, we need community, but God knew that like he gives us everything we need, like breath, like blood in our veins. Like he provides everything.
Yeah. Mindset. I like how we keep coming back to this mindset. At what point in your journey did you get this mindset, or have you always had this mindset that you have towards waiting and singleness, or did you experience a shift at one point?
Child, no. Like, I think I just had this, like, I've always wanted to be married. Like, since I was like 13, I wanted to be married. And I think, child, God has been showing me my heart and stuff. Because I remember thinking like, okay, like you go to college, you meet someone, y'all fall in love. Like, I just thought it was like 1 + 1 = 2. Like, yeah, if you do the right things, like, so I think I've definitely had some turmoil where it was like, God, like, don't you see me? Like, don't you see me? Like, as if like, I'm just deserving, like, because there's many ways in which I'm not deserving. And I feel like the shift came in just constantly pressing into God, pressing into his word, and realizing that he has my best interest in mind, and that he doesn't love me any less, whether I'm married, whether I have kids, whether I don't have kids, whether I have a house, whether I'm able-bodied, whether I'm disabled, whether I'm blind, whether I'm deaf. He doesn't love me any less, whether I got 50,000 in the bank or whether I got 0 in the bank. He died for me. Yeah. And that is enough.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. See, here's the thing. I don't know if I said this while we were recording or before, but I said you got a word in you. Now, she out here spitting fire, because where's the lie? And it's crazy because the enemy want us to believe in this. And I have a friend who has seen me through majority of my seasons. So when I was single, she was right there. Married, I love her so much, but she would always say, because how long have I been wanting to be married though? I don't want to be out here lying. I don't think I was 13. Oh no. I mean, I know I've always desired companionship, but I didn't turn it into like marriage until I was saved. Because before I was saved, it was just like, I just want a boy. I just want somebody to cuddle with. But she would always say, she's like, she never discouraged me. She knew that the Lord will send my, husband, but she would say, when you get married, you're going to want something else. You're going to get that and you're going to want something else. And it's like, because we are needy, he's given us desires. And she was like, will always kind of lead me back into contentment. Like, you have to be content. You like, yes, the Lord was intentional about placing me, the closest people to me in my single season, both were married. And I had chance of opportunity to glean from both of them. And one of my mentors, I remember her telling me, she was like, don't think it's strange that the Lord has you so close to them. And I look back now and I'm like, okay, Lord, I see what you were doing. I had an opportunity to really learn what I like, what I don't like, but also to learn to, as Paul said, to just be content in my lot. And, you know, and it is important because it's beautiful what the Lord is doing in you, because it's really going to bless your marriage. And that's another thing that the enemy don't want us to see, because marriage exposes to singleness. So whatever you doing single, whatever mindset you have, whatever craziness is going on up in that heart, it's just going to be on full. It's going to be on pay-per-view, as they would say, you know. But I think that it's very good what you are doing. Okay, moving right along. I would like for you to share your story. Earlier, I tried to kind of get it out, but I failed. So there was a time when you went from the talking phase to the dating phase. You passed the dating phase and you got to the engaged phase. And I would just like you to share a part of that journey, and then kind of how that was, especially being someone, I love how honest you're being. You're like, hey, I've been wanting to be married since I was 13 years old, you know, and you are now, you know, an adult, and you've seen
later.
Okay. And you've seen kingdom marriages, you know, and, you know, I don't know if you've been in weddings or not, or how you're, you know, that has been. And so how was that season for you? And once you share, I did want you to kind of give encouragement to anybody who may be in that or go through that.
Yeah. So that season was rough. Like, I think I'm still kind of in disbelief, like, wow, did that really happen to me? Because I think the real struggle was I would see people who like weren't even dating before I met that individual, and then they were engaged and they got married, and I'm like, well, that's how it's supposed to be. You know, like, you just assume you get engaged, you assume you plan the whole wedding, you assume you pay for everything, you assume you got your dress, you assume all these things. Like, that's just like similar. I mean, I'm not going to compare because everyone's pain is different, but it's like a mother who's carrying a child, and then it's like you don't get to see that child, you know? So it was like, in my mind, it was kind of like I felt like a carrot was dangling, and I'm like, like, I'm thinking, you know, like it's not like we were just engaged and it was like, oh, we just engaged. Like, no, like everything was planned, everything was paid, everything was paid. Dress, everything, you know.
Wow.
So it felt like a carrot dangling. It just got snatched. And instantly I was like, God, like, why? You know, like, it was kind of anger at God. Then it was also like, what's wrong with me? You know, like, there was a whole roller coaster of emotions. And this was like almost 5 years ago now. And, you know, I've definitely struggled with some mindsets and trying to shift some things. But one thing I would say as an encouragement is that God knows what he's doing. Like, he legit knows what he's doing, because I look at the person that I am now, just socially, spiritually, even just physically, emotionally. I would not be this person that I am if that didn't happen. I feel like it strengthened me in so many ways, and God knew the direction that he was taking my life. So it's like, my encouragement is like, anyone who's dealing with this, whether, you know, you got left at the altar, you know, which is like crazy, like, that's whatever it is that, like, God is going to make a way. Like, he will make a way out of no way. It says in Isaiah, you know, I believe 43, you know, 18, do not remember the past events. You know, pay no attention to things of old. See, like, I'm doing something new. Like, do you not see it? Like, I make rivers in the dry land. I make paths in the wilderness. So anything that you believe that is impossible, like Sarah who laughed, like, is anything too hard for God? There's nothing that's too hard for him. If he raised Lazarus from the dead, if he healed a blind man, what he has for you is for you, and trust that his plans are good and his plans are true.
Come on now. Girl, she about to make me cry. I'm over here like, you talking to me, Lord help. That was, wow. I really do pray that those who are watching whatever your, wherever you are relationally, that you be blessed by that, because it is true. And it made me think about a saying that was kind of journeying through social media for a while, but it stuck with me. And somebody would say, there's glory after this. So whatever that thing is, if it's divorce, if it's death, if it's disease, there is glory after this. Another thing that we've been sticking with as a family, as a household, is it ain't over till it's good. Mm-hmm. If it ain't good, it ain't over. Okay, that's your sign that, okay, he got to be working, because he said all things will work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And so, girl, that was an entire word. So in the same sphere, well, you probably just kind of gave a part of this out. What else? Because I believe that, I feel like that Bible verse is probably something I could tell that the Lord has rooted in you as encouragement. What is, when it comes to being content in this season, when it comes to the waiting, and of course all of the cliches, what is something else that you hold on to, that it could be a Bible verse, it could be a story, it could be something that the Lord has spoken to you, but what else are you holding on to in this season as you believe for a kingdom marriage?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely been primarily holding on to his word, but also just remembering the ways that he has provided, just remembering prayers that he has answered. I remember I'm someone who, I actually enjoy shoveling. And I remember like a brother in the church like texted and was like, hey, do you need someone to shovel? And it was just like, wait, God, like what? Or a brother in the church just randomly called me up like, hey, do you need prayer? Or just realizing just even financially, that was a big thing after the wedding got called off, where I was like, Lord, like, yeah. Like what you mean? And now like I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and the plan was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have another income. And even with one income, I have not had to touch my savings. Sometimes my hair got done because someone paid for it. Someone literally just sent me the money. Like, so I think I'm just reminded just of his provision, not even just financial, but just emotional, just relational. Brothers provision in the church, just people coming near to me. Like, it's been through his word, but it's also been through community that I've really just been holding on. And it's been an encouragement to me, because I feel like if I was married during this season, I believe, maybe not during this season, I don't know, God, because you could do it right now. You could do it tomorrow. But
okay, so good.
But like, I feel like back then, I felt like it would have become an idol. And I felt like I would have been just so wrapped up, and there would have not been any type of balance, like, and not even balance, because like, it's, yeah, but like there would have just been like me and that person, and that's it. And I wouldn't have grown as much as I've grown relationally, spiritually, health-wise. I definitely wouldn't have been growing. So, yeah.
Wow. So, okay. We're going to close this one a little bit different. I want you to, if you could say just a couple of words to your future husband, what would you say?
Where are you at? Like, where are you at? I mean, honestly,
take you nowhere.
I've been praying. Like, I've seriously been praying for my future husband since I was 25. Literally, not praying like, God, bring him, because like I can't demand any. Like, I'm like, who am I?
Yeah.
But praying over his health, his mental health, his family, his finances, his trauma, like his sexual trauma, like anything. Like praying over that. So like, I just want you to know that like, I'm praying for you. I've been praying for you. And I'm not rushing you, because it could be something that I know God working on some stuff in me, and he also could be working on some stuff in you.
Yeah.
But I just pray that you recognize.
Okay.
And I pray that I recognize, and that that God will put it together, and then it wouldn't be something that, because I try to force or put my hands in things, or, just trust God through it all.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah, we had to switch it up on y'all. But Now we're going to go to our very last segment. We are going to react to a video that has been circulating the internet. And also, I want to say this. Since we're going to be doing this new segment with reactions, we would love for y'all to blow up the comment section and react to the same videos as us. We just love the engagement. I really appreciate those of you who have been in the comment section. Also, I was looking at analytics of our YouTube channel. Y'all know we love y'all. Now, 92% of y'all that watch are not subscribed. And so if that is you and you've just been tuning in and watching videos, subscribe. Join in on our community. We want to make this a safe space for all of the kingdom, but kingdom singles, whoever. We want to make this a safe space to just dissect the word, a safe space to just come and be encouraged, be empowered, and be equipped. So we just hit that subscribe button right now. Stop what you're doing. I see you. Go ahead and subscribe. But let's go ahead and get to this reaction video.
I'm just going to add this one point. Ladies, I'm talking to y'all the best way that I can. When a man shows you non-committal efforts, that means that he only shows up when it's convenient for him. It's not time to get performative, and it's not time to turn your people-pleasing on. It's not time to have those conversations with yourself. If I don't do this, I'll lose this person. Yes. If I don't do this, they'll be upset. If you know that you value commitment, and this person is showing non-committal efforts, leave them alone. Don't have conversations. Don't try to draw up conclusions. Don't go into this fantasy world. Leave that person alone. That's why I'm always talking about y'all have to know y'all self-worth, and you need to build your esteem up. So that way, in the moments that these happen, you don't have to have these questions. You immediately have that boundary. As Dr. B said, you immediately set that boundary and you say, this person's not healthy for me. They don't align with my values and what I want for my life. I'm gonna let them be, because them leaving does not determine my worth.
Them leaving does not determine my worth. I like that end part. Okay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's good. I usually don't watch anything like that because of sometimes just, it's a lot out here. I go straight to my word, and I know sometimes people talk from their experiences.
Yeah.
And then sometimes things can be a little triggering, and sometimes I like to control when I'm triggered.
That's real now.
If that's a thing. But I feel like it's true. Like, yes, like someone leaving doesn't, determine your worth. But I think also we get so much in this black and white, like if someone leaves, or we could try to bash the person, or it could be the opposite way around, because what she was saying, I feel like that also can speak to men. And I think sometimes it's not even just like, oh, this person's a bad person or this person's unhealthy. Like sometimes we all have a little unhealthiness in us. I think I always look at it as like, maybe y'all just not it for each other, you know?
And that's okay.
Yeah, or it's just not the right time. Like, it's not like this, oh, this person, they got all this trauma. Like, you got trauma too.
Yeah. Ain't none of us perfect. There was only one perfect man, and what they do to him. Man, somebody had posted something real good. Y'all, I'm going to have to share it in the show notes because I don't remember about heart, but it was about the fact that, man, something about if the world, why are you trying to seek approval from a world that crucified the perfect man? The world said free Barabbas, who was a murderer, and killed Jesus. And we want approval from the world? No, ma'am. But I would say I agree. I think that especially, I want to speak to singles. Guard your gates, ears, eyes, your mouth, what you're speaking, because there is a lot. I feel like it's kind of, man, I can't even think of the word, but it's not of God, where I feel like people are playing on the fact that people desire, and some may be desperate, and they plan on that instead of them really being led by the Lord in maybe their ministry or their course, or trying to get you to buy this and go here and do all this. But I really like how you said, I'm just rooted in my word. So I do encourage, and I appreciate what she was saying as well, with the reaction, the reaction video we did, because we don't want, our worth can't be tied up in anything outside of God. And if someone does leave, it does help us to see our heart though. I'm gonna say that. breakups happen. Where your heart really was that person an idol? But I think that regardless of where we are, we really have to make sure, especially us women, we have to make sure that we know who God has called us to be and who he sees us as, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of where we were brought up. He said, you're the apple of my eye.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a royal diadem in the hand of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So he see you as more valuable than diamonds and gold and silver. And it's like we have to really meditate on that as women. Of course, me too, but definitely I feel like it's a special place in the heart of God for his daughter. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it is very important, you know, to be guarded in that sense, you know, as we're walking through very delicate seasons. But I just want to thank any and everyone that tuned in. Daphne, thank you for sharing your heart, for sharing the word, and for just being an encouragement. I also, you know, she mentioned her art. We're definitely going, you know, to put in the show notes how y'all can follow, how y'all can support and bless her ministry and what she's doing. It's literally the work of the Lord. Like I remember when she did my belly art, it was the whole mood was set. Holy Spirit was all up in there. And literally the little belly art looked like the actual baby that came out.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, if this ain't Holy Spirit, I don't know what is. But we're definitely going to share that in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to say it one more time because y'all ain't hear me the first time. Click that subscribe button. Okay? Because it can't be only 4% of y'all that watch and subscribe. That is not, y'all. Subscribe so y'all can be in tune with what we doing. And y'all go out there and make today meaningful. Peace.